face earlier. You ain't showing your face. Huh? I didn't even do the countdown. We live.
Hold on, let's go see what's going on with her. Hold on.
All right. Peace, everybody. We back.
What's going on with you?
We had a little break. We had a little break from we had a little break from the podcast. We had Mother's Day, and cuz went to Green Corn. I didn't go this year. So if y'all just tuning in, this will be a short live. This is just a recap. I meant to press the countdown, but I pressed all the way live. So peace to everybody in the chat.
Peace.
How was y'all Mother's Day in Green Corn? Did y'all go to a Green Corn powwow or ceremony last week? Peace, Chico.
Peace, Chico.
Well, this is from last week.
New Year and honoring one of their own. Ricky Jones has more.
The Yvmvse Indian tribe of Seminoles is hosting their annual Green Corn Unity Festival in Allendale on the campus of USC Salkehatchie. Green corn symbolizes renewal for the Yvmvse tribe. The event featured traditional Yvmvse clothing and performances from tribe members.
We have a period of 7 days where we originally celebrate in private ceremonial things that we don't do in the public, and then we open it up to the public at the end during the weekend to share our culture, our heritage, and then show camaraderie with the community.
The Yvmvse War of 1715 was a historical battle in which colonizers started enslaving Yvmvse Indians based on their skin color. The Yvmvse were renamed by colonizers as Seminoles or runaways due to their success in the war. Today, Gentle says it's important for the next generation of Yvmvse to know where they came from.
Well, it's important for our children to know who they are and where they came from. We honor our ancestors and our elders because they gave their lives for us to be here. So it's a form of disrespect not to continue on customs, traditions of our people so that our babies can continue to be who they are.
The event was also a day of remembrance for Markayla Roberts, a 14-year-old resident of Fairfax whose life was taken by a stray bullet. A proclamation was issued marking today as Markayla Roberts Day.
This year, Green Corn was dedicated to Markayla Roberts so that we can remember her and so that the fight can continue on to find out what happened to her so that her family can get some kind of solitude or feel a sense of justice as well.
Before this, myself along with other councilmen, we went to Columbia to fight for Markayla. And now Chief has come on board with me, so the fight continues.
Love hopes that this year's Green Corn Festival will be a launchpad for unity in Allendale County.
We've had a few shootings in Allendale County. They're cold cases. So starting today, we hope we can move forward.
The Green Corn Festival concludes tomorrow at USC Salkehatchie. In Allendale, Ricky Jones Jr. Yvmvse Indian.
So that was a preview of last week Green Corn. How was it, cuz? Hello? Cuz, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now
can
I
you
can
hear
hear
me?
you. Yeah.
Hold on, let me put a mic up. I say it was very enjoyable. It was very enjoyable. You know, it had a nice turnout and everything. So, yeah.
You feel renewed?
Oh, I'll be like that all the time.
Okay. Right. Well, short but sweet answer.
Hello, Moto.
There we go. Well, we did also honor the mothers. I don't know if I can make it smaller, but we did honor the matriarchs last Sunday. So the Giga, the Edgy, the Ishki, the Wachi, the Eki, the Holy Topa Ishki, the beloved women, the beloved matriarchs. So we did honor. We do that 365, but we did honor. And we just want to catch up with y'all. It's been a second. How's everybody doing in the chat? Peace, cousin Anthony. Well,
Instinct, peace. What's going on, family?
yeah, I wanted to share some pictures. Cousin Pa had one picture that he had posted. Let me pull it up. So this was you want to share who this is with you, cuz?
Oh yeah, that's the Chita Ogla, the Chita people, you know, from Lacombe, Louisiana. There's a historical tribe down here in Louisiana, the Chita Ogla. And they came to the green corn, you know.
Okay, let's share that. I'll share another video from Green Corn.
Today, before I get started, because I've been allotted a certain amount of time to talk, I want to thank you.
Well, that video right there, that wasn't at the green corn. That was actually at St. Augustine
Truly,
at
Oh,
Fort Mosaic.
of my people have been
oh, okay.
Yeah.
except in our spirit. Not only is Fort Mosaic a part of history,
Yeah, it does say
it has
that.
become a part of our culture, our heritage, and it's sacred to our people because my ancestors died here. Chip said something, and I want people to acknowledge it, which is this is holy land. This is sacred land. The ground that you stand on, people gave their lives for me to be here, for my children to be here. So we take our role here in this part that the state of Florida and the Fort Mosaic Historical Society brings us here for very seriously. Because like I said, my people are upset. If you don't know anything about the Yvmvse people, we were first encountered in the early 1400s. And there's so much that can be said about my people, but I'll skip ahead. But when we were encountered by the Spanish, they saw dark-skinned people. This is documented through drawings. This is documented through narratives. But those narratives and documents have been obscured and hidden in history, and we've been forgotten about. Only until people like Chip and the Fort Mosaic Historical Society in the state of Florida deep dived and researched to find out and brought my people back. And I literally mean that, brought us back from the dead, because we were forgotten. No longer called Yvmvse, it was called Negroes. We were also called runaways. The word they used for that was Seminole. We became known as Seminoles. Now this happened because of a displacement. For those who are not historically astute, in 1707, as he said earlier, we worked with the British. We also worked with the Spanish. But we worked with the British in ways that we didn't work with the Spanish because the British understood the importance of having the Yvmvse people. We were actually considered the first postcards of the United States. 1707, the British allotted us the first Indian reservation in the United States. It was called the Better Regulating the Militia. They considered us a part of their militia. And we protected the coast from their enemies. They allotted us, at that point in time, there was over 7 counties in South Carolina, and it included the Savannah in our language, which is Savannah. But what happened after that was we became betrayed by those that we taught. Those we taught to hunt, those we taught how to survive, those we taught how to forage. They started trading with us. And of course, when trade happens, you're hoping that you trade fairly. It did not happen. So while our men and women were in our villages and the men went out hunting for beaver pelts, deer hides, whatever we were trading for, trinkets, colonizers would come into our villages because our villages was very small, not the way history makes you think they were. And they would start taking our women, children, and elders and putting them into slavery. One of the reasons why they were able to do this is because of the color of our skin. The color of our skin was easy for them to obscure or hide a Yvmvse amongst the African people. This happened enough times that eventually my people went to war in 1715. It was called the Yvmvse War of 1715, and it was considered the bloodiest war next to King Philip's, where we went to Charlestown and met with our Indian agent, who gave us no satisfaction, and we woke up the next morning, we slaughtered every white man we could. This war continued on into the Seminole Wars, first and second. But before that happened, we had to go and rescue our people. This was the history and legacy of Fort Mose. This is how our people became involved. Because not only were we rescuing our people, we was also rescuing the people who were of African descent. Remember, they also came from tribes. They also had homes. We did it because it was the right thing to do. So we helped them. We helped them navigate through the swamps to find freedom, and it wasn't easy. Imagine being in groups of 20, sometimes 30, sometimes smaller, with women, children, and elders, being hunted by those you once called friends, those you taught how to hunt, those you taught how to track. No longer called friends, these are now your enemies, called slave catchers. And when our children are hungry, mothers, what do? Toddlers like to play. What are they making? Who's trying to catch us? Slave catchers. But we were going to a place that we was promised freedom. It was called Fort Mose. And we took as many people as we could on this underground railroad. And yes, this was a part of the underground railroad. Trying to avoid our captors. Because unlike ourselves, even though Yvmvse were fierce Indian warriors, we had ways to torture. They would torture us even worse. Oftentimes taking our children and babies, tying ropes around their necks, putting them next to the rivers and creeks, and using them as alligator bait. So we had no choice but to find freedom. And we found it here. The significance of Fort Mose, and I'll tell you when you come to this tour, that you don't come here by chance. You did not come here today by chance. What Chip, Billy, and the rest of us do, we're followed by the voices in our head. Even if you think they're mistakes, even if you think this is just a good idea, this is our ancestors calling to remember them. You were here this morning and you listened to how it all started. It was seen by chance. But by chance, do not create something so great and so magnificent as this. By chance, do not put people like Billy, Chip, Charles Ellis, and those who are involved in Fort Mose to happenstance amongst each other, to promote this history. This is the power of all of our ancestors, asking us to remember. Remember who we once were and who we do not want to be anymore. Today we live in a world where we send our women, our children, our sons and daughters to war to fight for other people's freedom. And we call them what? Heroes. But when we look at history, we look at it from another standpoint. We want to say, I want to find out what the African Americans did. I want to find out what the savages did. We don't call them what they really were, which was heroes. They fought for freedom. They fought for freedom. And when you come to Fort Mose, the only thing they want you to do is remember them. Remember what they lost, what they lived for, what they died for. This place is sacred to us. I want it to be sacred to you. I want you to be able to retell the story of Fort Mose
and help those who are here employed to do the best that they can to share the story with you and for you. The way this place will continue to grow and this history will never be forgotten is through you. You saying, have you been to Fort Mosaic? Have you learned about the history of the Fort Mosaic people? Share the story so that my people will not be forgotten. And it is only through the efforts of this story here, through my relative James Bullock, through Mr. William Knott, Mr. Charles Ellis, and the rest, that my people now have a voice. That when my ancestors spoke through them, they called them, and then they called me. That is the power of the Creator. That is the power of our ancestors. And this is how we continue to live. There's so much more I can share with you, but I'm truly blessed to be here on behalf of my people. But thank you for coming out here to learn about the Yvmvse people. Understand that we still are a living people, living in South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida, fighting to be heard, fighting for our story to be told, fighting for my ancestors to be remembered, so that my children can feel proud to be Yvmvse. Thank you, Chip. Thank you, James. Thank you, Thank you.
Cuz, you got anything to say?
No, he basically said what he said. You know, there's no need to iterate or reiterate what he said. So, you know, you have some people that would say otherwise because they're trying to get a campaign started saying that the Yvmvse are pretendingans and not a real tribe. You know what I'm saying? And that's funny. And they saying that on TikTok. You know, they urging people to call ICE and Homeland Security and the FBI and the BIA and everybody else, you know. But hey, do as they feel, you know what I mean? And all thing gonna happen is that it's gonna be a counter for them calling saying that we not a real nation, you know. So that's all on them. You know, they just go open up Pandora's box. That's the only thing they go do.
Yeah, it's just so crazy to me how they would try to question a historically documented tribal nation.
Yeah, you got people in them. I mean, anytime you have people that's trying to go against congressional records when they say that the Yvmvse were Negroes, you know, and they say, oh, they couldn't mean that. Motherfucker, that's a congressional record. And y'all gonna argue against that? I
Right.
remember it was some group that's on YouTube and they were talking about the Yvmvse. So I told them pull up the congressional records. The dude, he didn't even much put. I said, no, that's not it. I said, go to dealing with 1901 when they was talking about the congressional records of the 1800s. And when he put it up, he started reading it. And then that's when he said the Yvmvse was Negroes. So he was trying to stop it. So he went back and edited the YouTube. I said, oh, you bitch, you want to edit your doggone thing, but it's all good though. You know what I'm saying?
He read.
Because it said that the Yvmvse were Negroes and there was pre-Columbians. So if they're pre-Columbians, that's before the doggone 1400s.
Right.
Because Christopher Columbus is supposed to came in 1492. So if the Yvmvse are pre-Columbians and they was called Negroes and they look like Africans, then that means that they are Negroes. But they say, oh, well, they never had no Negroes over here that were indigenous people. Motherfucker, it's in the congressional records.
Yep.
But they want to argue. So I let the motherfucker say what they say. I'm not gonna be debating.
Right.
You know, you got the white boy by the name of, Jacob Caps. Midwest, whatever you want to call his motherfucking name. I know he upset because he can't call my phone no more because I changed my number, you bitch you. So anyway, and then you got many other people like the dude that keep on talking about that he's a Seminole freeman and everything, and his people is on the rolls. Nigga, that was for land allotment only. There was not no motherfucking Seminoles. You already said that you ain't got no Indian blood, so you don't even much qualify to speak. You know what I'm saying? But he said he's educated. Well, who the fuck educated you? You know what I'm saying? My grandmother always says an educated fool, but hey, it's neither here or there. But but yeah, you got people in them that say that the Yvmvse is not real and everything, but it's funny, you know.
Yeah, they
And they've been
cannot
saying all that other dumb shit. Oh, they've been They've been giving people documents and stuff, and they got in trouble. Motherfucker, that was not us. That was not us at all. But hey, you know,
Yeah, they truly
they
need
don't
to
know, and they
work.
don't decide.
Yeah, they just need to do their homework. That's all. And like you
Mm-hmm.
said, the dude had read it, and he later went back and edited it. That's so
Mm-hmm.
great. But he read it.
Mm-hmm.
He know.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But I did just want
Mm-hmm.
you touch on that because you just left the green corn ceremony and powwow. So I did
Mm-hmm.
want you to, share with the people. You said you felt renewed. And that's that, y'all. This is gonna be a short podcast. We just checking in with y'all because
Yeah, they, but
we
but you
sell
know what's so funny though? You know what's so funny,
what?
right? That they had documents saying that they killed 400 million Indians, right? But then they turn around and say that they enslaved 400 million Africans, right? Isn't that ironic? You
Yeah,
kill 400 million Indians, but then you turn around and got 400 million Africans off the west coast of Africa. You know what I'm saying? But you got people in them that talking about, oh, Pod deny his African. I never denied my African ancestry. You know what I'm saying? No motherfucker on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter can never find where I said that I did not have no African admixture. But the white boy, he mad because motherfucker bust his nation up because they was invaders. You know what I'm saying? And they still invaders today. So how in the fuck you gonna be classified as the first nation when you already in your Walla Uma said that y'all came in contact with people that was already here. So how the fuck you are a motherfucking First Nation? How? How? And then he will talk about, oh, my grandfather was Seminole. Motherfucker, there ain't no tribe called Seminole. Seminole was a conglomerate of many different tribes that was dispersed because dealing with 1715 and then some. So if you say you Seminole, well, what part of the Seminole nation of people you come from? Because there was many nations inside that made the Seminoles. Right, right. You're absolutely right, nephew. So, and that's the whole thing. They talk about, well, you're a pretendian. Man, I ain't gotta pretend shit. I am who the fuck I said I am. And if you don't like it, motherfucker, come to New Orleans and change it. I'll put my fucking blood on the line. That part.
Well, at the end of the day, when you know who you are, some people feel threatened by that, which shows that they have some kind of insecurity. So
Oh yeah.
that's all. But We ain't gonna hold y'all long. We just want to check in with y'all because we hadn't been on here in a while. We celebrated Mother's Day and green corn, so.
But even with that, right? How they gonna say that we don't exist, but we the ones that actually came and brought the maize to North America to civilize their ass with the ceremony? But yet y'all say that we extinct. Go talk to your elders. That's what you go do. Go talk to your tribal elders that's in the 80s and 90s and probably in their hundreds if they ain't croak. Go talk to them. Go talk to them. They know who the Yama is. They know. See, the time for play, it ain't no play. You dealing with real people that are traditionalists. And then you get people in them talking about, well, why don't you show your records? Show your records. I ain't gotta show you a motherfucking thing because number one, you're not a part of no nation seat. You're not in no tribal council. You're not no Meku. You're not none of that. So why I need to show you my family records? The appropriate people that's in authority know who the fuck I am. And that all that matters. So they can keep on calling people pretendians and wabbos and abos. Only thing they're doing is committing international crime. Because now you're trying to denationalize a people, and that's a crime. So if you want to go to the Hague, to the World Court, and get your ass in trouble and go to the world's jail, then hey, go ahead on and keep on making them stupid ass statements. The Pope that's from New Orleans, he know who the fuck we are. The Vatican know who the fuck we are. The Spanish know who the fuck we are. The French know who the fuck we are. But that's right, y'all only deal with the documents from the English. That's why y'all don't know. Just like what my nephew said, you know. We had a nice bill today. Him and Seminole Brown. We had a good conversation on the phone. But y'all thought about the Yvmvse, bitch, watch when the other family members come out. Y'all really gonna be pissed. Y'all really gonna be pissed. And that's a part of my family too. So look out, you bitch, you.
Well, when I asked if you had something to add, I was trying to keep it on green corn. And
all that's a part of that. All that's a part of that.
On that level, not giving any energy to the haters. Fuck the haters.
Yeah, that's why I said what I say. It wouldn't never been no green corn if the Yama wouldn't never bought it. So how you gonna say that we extinct, but yet y'all doing our traditions? That part. That's a part of green corn, right? It would never have been if we never bought it up here. You see? But see, they don't know the history, but they heard it today.
Yeah, that was
tell them to go ask the Muskogee chief over there in Oklahoma. Go ask him who bought the ceremony here. Because the ceremony was here before they came from down there from South America running from Cortez in the 1500s, and better yet, in 1520. We was already doing ceremony up here before they even came. Go ask your chief that.
Yeah,
It's the
well, we're gonna
streets.
play this clip and get off of that.
Begins in Allendale this weekend, where a native
The Yvmvse Indian
celebrating their new year and honoring one of their own. Ricky Jones has more.
The Yvmvse Indian tribe of Seminoles is hosting their annual Green Corn Unity Festival in Allendale on the campus of USC Salkehatchie. Green corn symbolizes renewal for the Yvmvse tribe. The event featured traditional Yvmvse clothing and performances from tribe members.
We have a period of 7 days where we originally celebrate in private ceremonial things that we don't do in the public, and then we open it up to the public at the end during the weekend to share our culture, our heritage, and then show camaraderie with the community.
The Yvmvse War of 1715 was a historical battle in which colonizers started enslaving Yvmvse Indians based on their skin color. The Yvmvse were renamed by colonizers as Seminoles or runaways due to their success in the war. Today, Gentle says it's important for the next generation of Yvmvse to know where they came from.
Well, it's important for our children to know who they are and where they came from. We honor our ancestors and our elders because they gave their lives for us to be here. So it's a form of disrespect not to continue on customs, traditions of our people so that our babies can continue to be who they are.
The event was also a day of remembrance for Markayla Roberts, a 14-year-old resident of Fairfax whose life was taken by a stray bullet. A proclamation was issued marking today as Markayla Roberts Day.
This year, Green Corn was dedicated to Markayla Roberts so that we can remember her and so that the fight can continue on to find out what happened to her so that her family can get some kind of solitude or feel a sense of justice as well.
Before this, myself along with other councilmen, we went to Columbia to fight for Markayla. And now Chief has come on board with me, so the fight continues.
Love hopes that this year's Green Corn Festival will be a launchpad for unity in Allendale County.
We've had a few shootings in Allendale County. They're cold cases. So starting today, we hope we can move forward.
The Green Corn Festival concludes tomorrow at USC Salkehatchie. In Allendale, Ricky Jones Jr., WJBF News Channel 6.
All right. Well, we just want to share that rich history with you all. We'll see y'all next week. We're gonna do 7:30 p.m. Central Standard.
7:30 next week. But you know what? I feel good. I feel good, yeah, cuz I really do. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because I like the naysayers. I like the haters. You know, only thing they're gonna do is just keep
came
on
back
pushing.
renewed, right? You just came back renewed.
Oh, not renewed, but I was rejuvenated. You heard me? I was
rejuvenated, which is good.
Yeah, I was rejuvenated. You know, I had to go get the battery started. You know what I'm saying? But they don't understand. They don't understand. You see? But once again, they don't know about the prophecies of the black eagle going to save the red eagle from the white eagle. But see, they got so much malice in their heart towards us because they learned it from their European fathers. You see what I'm saying? They learned that in boarding school. You know what I mean? That's where they learned it from. You know, here we let y'all come into the Southeast and we civilized y'all. We civilized y'all. We gave y'all ceremony. And that's how y'all gonna treat us? Really? Real? You need to be ashamed. Y'all need to be ashamed of yourselves. Literally. Literally.
Does anybody have any comments or questions in the chat before we peace out?
Yeah, that's the whole thing right there. Get that malice out your heart.
Yeah, we got positive vibes in the chat, which I love when it's positive vibes in the chat.
Oh yeah, all the time. All the time.
Yeah.
But my thing is this, right? You know, they got malice and hatred in their heart. For what reason? For what reason they have that?
They do, but we not gonna waste our time talking about that shit. That's some shit that they got to deal with when they look at the man or woman in the mirror. We here to share with the people true history, have special guests, and just have an awesome time. That's what I'm all about. So, y'all stay tuned. Next Sunday, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. We'll see y'all there. Here, Southeastern Talking Stick Podcast. I'm out,
Same
cuz.
smoke time, same smoke channel. You heard me?
Peace.
Oh, for sure, nephew.